Hi. So we have come to the First Aviation Academy. This is in Subic, and we have the team members, the pilot.
Yes, I'm one of.
So I wish to understand about the process when one student comes here. What is the first thing they are getting training in?
Okay, we always start on the ground. Okay, so when we do the ground training, it's based on 10 subjects related basically solely on flying, and after they pass the 10 exams for all 10 subjects, they'll be subjected to a panel.
Okay.
We call it a panel, so wherein 3 or 4 instructors will have to ask questions for each subject.
Okay.
Once they pass the panel,
Yeah.
they proceed to the simulators.
Okay.
So they will be versed with the procedures, the maneuvers, and the safety compliances we do
Okay.
in flight.
Okay.
After they'll do at least 5 hours of simulator training.
Okay.
After 5 hours, then they'll be checked by the assigned, if not the chief flight instructor, a designated flight instructor will have to check them.
Okay.
Once they're okay and they pass the safety standards of the
Right.
school, they'll proceed with their actual flight.
Okay. So how is the passing percentage? Most of the students they pass the 10 subjects or they fail and reappear.
Well, actually, if we do really extensive ground training,
Yes.
so the passing grade is at 80%.
Very nice.
Yes,
Ah,
so,
that's very good.
Because the only way we can make the flights less risky
Right.
is to
Ah.
make sure that they are well prepared before they get into the aircraft.
So it's good to be stricter.
We actually are quite strict with the ground training.
Very
yeah.
good.
Up until the flight, we don't want to relax because it in itself flying is a risk.
Yes.
Our aircrafts are both in analog and glass cockpit. Are you familiar with those?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, actually, the same rate applies for analog and glass cockpit. So analogs are the dials with the round instruments,
Okay.
and the glass cockpits are those Garmin 1000s we have. Okay, so this is what we call the glass cockpit.
Glass
We use the G1000.
Okay.
So if you can see, there's just two huge screens there. So it's different from the old school. It's an advancement from the old school technology we use, which are the analog or the one with the round dials.
Okay. So what is the
Yeah.
benefit of this type of structure?
Okay, so it's beneficial because actually the students, part of the skills they have to learn is scanning.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a different scanning techniques for analog, different for Garmin, and most of the industry standards nowadays adjust to glass cockpits.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we verse them with both analog and the Garmin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it better than analog in terms of safety standards?
Actually, flying.
Yeah.
Actually, if we practice and
Yes.
if we train in both, there's not much of a difference in a sense in flying, but for in preparation and going further into the career,
Yes.
it's definitely beneficial. I can say
Okay.
for them to be well versed in glass cockpits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any glass cockpits now here?
That's one of our glass
This-
cockpits.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, half of the fleet is Garmin, half the fleet is analog.
Okay. Okay.
So how many aircraft do we have in our fleet?
9,
9
8
aircraft.
Cessna 172s and one twin engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So what is the procedure? Like, how do we start? What is the
Okay, to
step-by-step
get your
procedure?
license. Okay, so for basics, we all get the requirements from the authority, which in the Philippines is the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, which is CAAP for short. And once we do enroll in school, we have all the necessary requirements. You'll be subjected to around a month or a month and a half of schooling, ground schooling, and that will be a total of 10 subjects. After the 10 subjects, you will be subjected to 10 exams, one for each subject. And once At 80%, as I mentioned earlier,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
passing rate is 80%.
Okay.
The passing rate is 80%, and once you pass that, you'll be subjected to what we call the panel. It's a panel discussion wherein actually a minimum of, if I'm not mistaken, at least 3 instructors will be there to ask you questions about the 10 subjects.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
after that, what happens? Then the actual training part comes.
after the panel discussion,
Yeah.
they will be released. That's the term we use when they move forward to the simulator training.
Okay, I'll hold it.
How many hours of simulator training?
It's at least 5 hours of simulator training wherein they'll be prepared for the actual flight. So that would include procedures training, safety training for emergencies, and maneuvers. Yes, after 5 hours, they'll be checked by, if not the chief flight instructor, a designated flight instructor before they get released for the actual flight. And in our company, we have to fly at least 20 hours of training before they can proceed with their solo flight. So that's an actual requirement from CAAP for them to have their first license. So they have to fly solo first before they proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far we have discussed about the training part.
Yes, this is the
Okay,
basic.
and tell us more about the employment. So
What-
what happens after getting the license? The students are absorbed in different commercial pilot company airlines. Sorry. So like.
Yes, because the goal, I can only speak for the company, and
Okay.
the goal of the company is to prepare the students for as close to the airline training as possible. So we
Okay.
want them to be airline prepared, for the lack of better term, airline prepared in the
Okay.
future, or whatever flying career they would want to
Huh.
have.
Okay.
And what is the speciality and USP of this flying school specifically if we talk about?
Well, first, we uphold our safety standards to the highest level. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, flying itself is a risk. So the most we can do is in the ground is to be as safe as we can as possible. So that's why our preparation, and it's strict from the ground up until you go to fly.
Okay.
Then our equipment, our aircrafts are well maintained. We have a fleet of, if I'm not mistaken, 9 aircrafts, which are both in analog and Garmin glass cockpit. So we uphold our standards to the utmost ability that we can.
Okay, Charlie, tell us more about the instructors in this flying school. How far they are qualified, and what about the sort of standards they maintain in their classrooms?
Well, actually, the instructors here are very professional. Okay? So in the ground we can be your friends, but in flight we are your flight instructors.
Okay.
So we want to uphold a certain level of professionalism always.
Very nice.
You can always talk to us in the ground, but when it comes to flying, we uphold a certain standard.
Okay.
The company, our team recently just have our what we so called company standardization, wherein the FIs will discuss among ourselves how to properly and how to be similar or not one with the training procedures and how we approach the training. So we do that on an annual basis.
Do you think this is really a lucrative career? So if you talk about the career journey, how does it proceed? Like as in terms of remuneration and salary?
Well, it always depends on how the people perceive it. It can be lucrative, but one thing I can definitely say is this is one of the most exciting jobs that you can have.
Yes, definitely.
It's one of the most fun things you can do.
Okay.
We're basically defying physics.
Okay.
We're basically not meant to fly. People are not meant to fly, and
Uh-huh.
we do that on a daily basis. So
Okay.
I can't help but feel lucky, and
Okay.
on a daily basis
Right.
once I get to fly.
Okay.
So definitely, it's more of a passion thing for most of the people here, because it's a tough. It's not an easy. It's not an easy
Yes.
industry to get into.
Yes.
So
Uh,
if you're not motivated, if you're not passionate
Yes.
about it,
Mhm.
the road's gonna get harder.
yes.
Definitely.
So what role fitness plays in your profession?
Well, we do an annual physical exam.
Okay.
We're checked by the by the authorities to uphold the, because we don't want to be, we always want to be 100% during in flight.
Okay.
Three of our simulators. Okay, so this are motion. This comes with a motion. Okay, so this gives you a taste of how it feels inside the aircraft. Okay, this is where the students are first subjected prior to being in the actual plane.
So this is a part of ground training, simulator training.
Yes. Yes. Actually, this is
before
after.
flight.
Before
Before flight, they
actual
have to
flying.
simulate themselves
Okay.
Yes.
on a real life experience.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So we have these simulators out here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do emergencies, we do the procedures, we do the maneuvers here before they get checked and be released for the actual flight. Okay. So this is these two are the same, and this one is the Mustang, as we call, and this is for our jet orientation training.
Okay.
So we do offer that. So like I said earlier, we want to train our students for the airline industry in the future. So,
So let us explain us first how this simulator is different from the other one.
okay, this is a simulator that for jets. Okay.
jets,
Yeah, for
okay.
jets. So just to make usually we this is just for orientation for
Okay.
the student, for them to be oriented
Right.
in flying jets.
Okay.
Okay. So from a simple aircraft
To a jet.
to a jet. So
Okay.
to make the transition smoother from a simple aircraft,
Uh-huh.
we introduce them here first.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
So as we all know, most of the airlines have jets. They fly
It's
jets.
dark only. Do
Sorry.
we have a light inside or it's dark only?
Yeah, it is, but I can't. I'm afraid I can't turn this on right now because
Okay,
I
okay.
don't think I'm. I can
Let's take a closer view of the simulator.
Light
Yeah,
will
I
on.
think light will down. Let's take a
So I can provide
Ha,
the
ha,
light.
ha.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the close view of the simulator. So there two people are sitting here. One is the student and the other is the instructor.
Instructor, yeah.
Okay.
So they'll be oriented for their transition to make their transition easier to actual jets.
Right.
Yes, three simulators.
One for the
One for the jet,
Jet
and
and
two
two
for
for
the simple aircraft,
Simple
or the single engine aircraft.
Okay. Okay. This is the second classroom where the students sit and they get the first-hand experience of the theoretical subjects. The instructors provide them ample information on all the subjects. I'll just sit and feel as if I'm a student over here. It's quite comfortable chair. And here you get all the ABCs, the basics of the flight training. After clearing the subjects, you get the flying experience. So it's very important to understand the very basics of aviation. So the subjects are being taught over here, and the classrooms are well lighted with proper air conditioning. So we have come to this leisure room where the students in their spare time could sit. Let us take a view of this place. This is the sitting table, the dining area. The students can take their lunch over here, and modular facilities are provided. There's a refrigerator. There's a microwave and a coffee machine. The students could help themselves. And it's a very well lighted and there's AC here and very comfortable. And even students in their leisure time can have a view of the flights from this area. So, Captain Charlie, tell us more about what the students do here.
So usually it's a very taxing activity to be flying. So
Right.
at least
Full of stress. Yes.
That one too, aside
Yeah.
from the physical,
Ah.
it's a very stressful thing if you're unprepared.
Right.
Okay, we
Yes.
don't want to fly with unprepared students. Nevertheless, we do have the sofas.
Okay.
So it's a cool place. So from the hot flight, you can relax.
Yes.
And have a meal here. So
Right. Okay.
we always want to provide the best for
Yes. Okay.
for our students.
So the students could chill out and relax here after the flying. And this place is great. I would love to have a cup of coffee over here.
You can look inside. It's state of the art, and
Okay.
the school got it brand new.
Okay. We'll take a closer view of this.
These are new jets, new aircrafts.
These are what we call the multi-engine.
This is the multi-engine aircraft.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us more about the multi-engine aircraft.
So actually, this is just for additional training. Okay, so this has two propellers, and the school got this brand new.
Okay.
So like I said, we want the safest possible
Yes.
service we can provide. Okay, and this is part of the requirement of other airlines.
So how many people can sit here?
A maximum of 4. But we don't usually ask people to sit at the back. This is for training purposes. So
Okay.
we only allow them if it's for what we call OBS or observation.
Three cheers for First Aviation Academy. Hip hip! Hooray!